What would you do if a simple gift for your husband got you accused of stealing? In today's story, the protagonist's response to this impossible situation is a masterclass in navigating manipulative behavior. My name is Chloe. I'm 29, and I'm a stay-at-home mom to our preschool-age children. My husband, Mark, who is 36, is the sole breadwinner for our family. He handles everything: the mortgage, the bills, all the household and kids' needs. To manage this, he has a strict monthly budget for every single category. Recently, Mark admitted he was getting overwhelmed and asked me to take over the grocery shopping. But before he'd hand over his credit card, he had a condition. I had to write out a detailed list of everything we needed so he could calculate the total cost in advance. This way, he said, he'd have an idea of exactly what I was spending. Honestly, I didn't have a problem with that at first. It seemed like a sensible way to keep an eye on our spending habits. But then he added another rule. He plainly stated that I was never, under any circumstances, allowed to buy something that wasn't on that pre-approved list unless I was paying for it myself, from some other source of money I didn't have. This moment revealed Mark's greatest fatal flaw, his deep-seated belief that his financial contribution entitled him to absolute authority, reducing his wife from a partner to a subordinate. It was a worldview that would inevitably poison any gesture of kindness. Last Friday, I was at the grocery store, list in hand, sticking to the plan. As I walked past an aisle, I saw a display of men's shoes on a massive sale. I noticed they had a brand Mark liked, and the price was incredibly low, a total steal. My first thought was of him. He desperately needed a new pair of sneakers, and this felt like a stroke of luck. I was genuinely excited, thinking he'd be thrilled that I'd found such a great deal on something he actually needed. I decided to grab a pair for him. When I got home, I couldn't wait to show him, but the moment I did, his face darkened. He completely flipped out, his voice instantly sharp as he told me I had made a huge mistake by buying something that wasn't on the list. I tried to explain, my own excitement dissolving into confusion. I told him I agreed with the rule in principle, but I thought that since the shoes were a gift for him, it would be different. He wasn't having it. He said I had screwed up and had no right to buy those sneakers without his explicit permission. I tried to defend myself, pointing out that the price was so low it was hardly an extravagant purchase. It wasn't like I had dropped $100 on them. I just saw an amazing deal and wanted him to have the nice sneakers he needed. His response was cold and brutal. "What you did," he said, his eyes hard, "is considered stealing. I never consented to that purchase." He then went on to say that my supposed irresponsibility with money was the exact reason I no longer had an income of my own and that my spending habits needed a grip, whatever that meant. His words felt like a slap in the face. I was so hurt. The conversation devolved into a massive argument that lasted for hours, going in circles. In my mind, I started thinking, if this is how he views it, then I should just stop buying him birthday and Christmas presents. By his own twisted logic, I'd be stealing from him to celebrate him. Eventually, he shut down completely and gave me the silent treatment for the rest of the day. The next day, the hurt had solidified into a cold resolve. If I had made a mistake, I would correct it. If I had stolen from him, I would return the money. I drove back to the store, walked up to the customer service desk, and returned the brand new sneakers. Mark came home that evening, still cold and distant. It wasn't until later that he asked where the shoes were. When I calmly told him that I had returned them, he lost it. The controlled anger from yesterday was gone, replaced by pure rage. "I can't believe how petty and childish you are," he seethed. "You actually went and returned them?" "I was just correcting my mistake," I said, my voice steady. He scrambled for his phone and immediately tried to call the store, demanding to know if the sneakers were still there. I could hear the tinny voice on the other end inform him that because they were on clearance, they had been sold almost immediately. Here, the true nature of the trap was revealed. The issue was never the shoes or the money, it was about control. By buying the shoes, I had defied his authority. By returning them, I had also acted independently, proving I couldn't be controlled. For a man like Mark, any independent action was a threat, and his anger was the only tool he had to reassert his dominance. He slammed his phone down, his face flushed with an even deeper anger. He started yelling, and I cut him off. "You accused me of stealing," I said, "when all I was trying to do was a nice thing for you. You've got a lot of nerve calling that a nice gesture when you used my money to do it, he yelled back. And you have no right to yell at me, I replied, feeling a strange sense of calm. Not after I corrected my mistake and gave back the money you accused me of stealing. He was speechless, just sputtering with rage. He threw a fit, grabbed his keys, and stormed out to be with his friends, returning late that night and resuming the suffocating silence. As I lay in bed that night, I couldn't help but see the whole ordeal for what it was. This wasn't about a budget. This was about power. People online often point out the red flags in stories like this, and suddenly, my own were waving in my face. I had zero knowledge of or input into our family's finances, and that was by his design. I had to get pre-approval just to buy groceries. When I acted even slightly independently, I was met with extreme anger and accusations. When I tried to fix the very mistake he was furious about, I was met with an equal amount of rage. It was a textbook case of Darvo, deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. It's a technique abusers use to make you think you're the one in the wrong. And his constant emphasis on his money was the biggest red flag of all. It's not his money when we're a married couple. My work is as a stay-at-home mother. That doesn't mean I don't contribute. We are supposed to have family money. This story is a stark reminder that financial control is a powerful and insidious form of emotional abuse. It's designed to create no-win situations that leave the victim feeling powerless and constantly questioning themselves. So I'll ask you, when a partner's love comes with such strict conditions and baseless accusations, is it still love? And what's the first step someone should take when they realize they're caught in a financial trap?